How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be checking out the Samsung G85SB QD-OLED monitor. Now we're going to go through the unboxing process first, take you through the setup, and then we're going to bring you through the actual review of the monitor and my thoughts on if you should get it depending on who you are. Now after you watch this video, if you decide to pick up the monitor, I will have the links in the description below. These are affiliate links, so if you use them to buy the monitor, it helps out the channel a lot, and I thank you so much for doing that. But I want to be clear, this monitor is only going to be for certain people, so you're going to want to listen closely to see if you're one of those people, because if you're not, I can definitely point you into a better direction in terms of what might work for you. Alright, so as we go through the unboxing process, I gotta say this is one of the easiest monitors to set up. So all the accessories were on the top of the box, and once you take those out, you then take the monitor out and put it on top of styrofoam on top of the cardboard, so it's really easy to get the stand on. Once you click in the stand, it's really simple. You screw on the bottom and that's it. It's one of the easiest setup processes for the monitor that I've ever had to deal with. Alright, so after unboxing the monitor, you are met with a setup screen that you might notice if you're familiar with Samsung TVs. So you go ahead and answer its yes or no questions, put in all the information that it asks you for if you want to, and then you're done with the setup. Then you'll notice that you are taken to a home screen that looks much like a TV OS home screen if you're familiar with the TVs. If you're not, this is the new Tizen OS home screen, and you're going to have access to several different apps. Now this isn't something you typically see on a lot of monitors, so basically you kind of have to think of this monitor as a TV hybrid. And really that's what it is. So those of you looking for a good desk setup monitor and you're going to play a lot of ultra wide games on it, but you also want the functionality of having all these apps, then this is a really good solution for those that are in that category. Some of the apps that you get with this monitor is pretty much what you see on every Samsung TV. So you have your Netflix, your Disney Plus, but you also have access to Samsung TV Plus, which if you're not familiar with that, it is pretty much a free TV service. And I like to use it personally to kind of just browse through and flip through channels like I used to do back in the day. Next, let's talk about the core lighting feature that's built into this monitor. It's a really cool feature. They have something built in called Core Sync, which is going to sync your picture to the lights. So every time the lights detect that the picture is showing a certain color, that's what color you will see on the lights. And those of you that are familiar with Philips Ambilight or one of those lighting systems that changes based on what content you're playing, then this is very similar to that. If you don't like that, you can also have it just cycle through different colors or have a solid color display. Or if you don't want it at all, you can turn it off. So it's a really cool function. I thought I'd mention it because I know a lot of you guys are into lights. Now, while we play some demo footage in the background, we're going to go through some of the specs and functionality of this monitor. So this is a 3440 by 1440p resolution monitor, which is a 21:9 aspect ratio. You have 175 Hz refresh rate, 2 USB-C ports, 1 micro HDMI 2.1 port, and 1 mini display port. It's important to note that in the box, you only have a mini display port to regular display port cable that it comes with. I didn't see the micro HDMI 2.1 cable. Unfortunately, I had to buy my own, and you have to make sure it is a micro HDMI 2.1 cable to regular HDMI 2.1 or you will run into some issues. I do feel like it is kind of a hassle that you have to go out and buy one and it's not included in the box, since who really has a micro HDMI 2.1 cable laying around? Alright, going on from there, you have a feature called Auto Source Switch Plus. So if you have multiple devices hooked up to your monitor, it will go ahead and auto switch to that device that you go ahead and turn on. You also have smart home control with SmartThings integration, voice control via Amazon A and Bixby, and pretty much all the functions that you would expect from a Samsung TV. Alright, let's move on to the main reason you would buy this monitor, and that is gaming. So I really only recommend this monitor for people that are gaming on a PC. That way you can take advantage of that resolution, that 3440 by 1440p resolution. And it is a really high quality resolution. It's not quite 2160p, so if you're used to 2160p, you are going to feel like the image is a little bit softer for a lot of people. But if you're somebody who is used to playing in 1440p and you just want to upgrade your monitor, this is a really good solution for that. The picture quality is excellent, and it is one of the best monitors, if not the best monitor that I've ever used in terms of being a monitor. Now there are TVs that I would recommend over it to use as a monitor, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But if you're just looking for the best monitor on the market, it's hard to imagine there's something better than this right now. But there are a lot of great monitors coming out, so you might want to look into what else is coming out this year. Now, as far as HDR goes, I think the picture quality is really good. It's bright and punchy, and if you're into that sort of picture quality, then this is definitely going to be a monitor for you. If you're somebody who sits more on the accuracy side of things with gaming, I personally don't think this monitor is going to be for those people, and much like the TVs that Samsung makes, that is going to be the case here with the monitor. And those of you that want accuracy with gaming, I would suggest just using an LG OLED TV as your monitor. Those of you that just want a bright, punchy picture, this Samsung gaming monitor is going to be hard to beat, and I had it up against the LG OLED. And as far as brightness and colors go, the QD-OLED definitely won that battle. But I do have to say that having the 4K resolution on my LG C1 48-inch, it definitely presented a much cleaner looking image a lot of times. But if you're going for that ultra wide look and you want a bright, punchy monitor, then the QD-OLED is the way to go. As far as gaming functionality goes, you do have the game bar where if you hold the play button on the remote, you can have the game bar pop up. You have access to different picture modes so that you can set up different picture modes depending on the game that you play. If you want to have different picture modes, I like this feature a lot. You can find a similar feature in LG OLEDs. Another cool feature that you might not typically find on monitors is Game Motion Plus. So you do have Game Motion Plus options for this monitor. And if you're not familiar with Game Motion Plus, it's pretty much motion interpolation for gaming, and what you can get out of that is some of the 30 frames per second games that you might feel is rather choppy. If you go ahead and engage Game Motion Plus, as long as you're not too sensitive to motion interpolation, I think you can get a really smooth experience, almost feeling like 60 frames per second. I personally love Game Motion Plus, and I highly recommend people try it out at least. So while we're on the topic of gaming, a lot of people might buy this monitor and they don't have any sound outside of headphones. So those of you that want to have sound outside of headphones, I have to say that the speakers on this monitor are pretty decent and they can get pretty loud. Alright, now let's go into the downsides of this monitor. I would have to say one of the biggest downsides of this monitor is that if you're having it in a bright room or anywhere where you might have a light source shining on it or near it, you can have lifted gray blacks when the light source is shined on it, like you can see in this example here, where I'm having the video light actually shine onto my QD-OLED monitor. Now, I have to say that this is a very extreme example, but I'm doing it so that you can see the difference between the lights being completely off and my video light shining onto the monitor. It is, like I said, quite extreme, but I wanted to do it to give you an example of what could happen in the most extreme cases. Another potential downside if you do a lot of productivity work is the color fringing on the text because of the pixel structure of the QD-OLED. This is going to be something you might notice if you get really close to the monitor and you look for it. At normal seating distances, it is definitely harder to detect. And if you're not doing a ton of productivity work, I doubt you'll ever feel like this bothers you just browsing the web. Alright, so who is this monitor for? I would say that if you're somebody that does a lot of productivity work and you really don't game that much, don't look at this monitor. It is not a monitor for you. Now, if you're somebody that does mostly gaming and little productivity work on the side, I would say as long as you're doing PC gaming and it makes sense, then you could get away with getting this monitor. If you're somebody that's a PC gamer who is used to this 1440p vertical resolution, and that's really all you do, then yes, this monitor is absolutely a good prospect for you. Now, I think who this monitor is definitely for is those that want a all-in-one solution for their desk, something that can operate as a TV and a monitor at the same time. It has the access to the apps and everything like I mentioned. It also has the neural quantum processor built into it, which is the same as what goes into the TVs. So if you're looking for that all-in-one solution, this is a really good route to go. Who I don't think I would recommend this for is somebody who only really plays any sort of console games. If you're not doing any type of PC gaming to take advantage of the resolution, I have to say I definitely wouldn't recommend this monitor to you, and there's better ways to go if you're just looking for a monitor that's going to do 16:9. So as long as you're a PC gamer, I say yes, this is a good monitor for most people. And for me, it is one of the best looking monitors that I've ever seen, if not the best monitor. Well, if you guys are looking for more reviews, I'll have reviews on TVs and some monitors all year long. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss that. And if you want to watch more on QD-OLED technology, I have another video for you right here.